West Bengal now, where in fact the breaking update that we're getting now with respect to the West Bengal investigation that is all set to take place and also the independent investigation that had been demanded by the opposition leader has now been granted. The Calcutta High Court has instructed the CBI to take over the investigation in the Rampur Haat case. Remember, over the past few days, we have been seeing a lot of back and forth and claims and counterclaims with respect to the kind of massacre that had taken place, and the opposition leaders also demanding that it is the West Bengal government and Mamata Banerjee also who is trying to malign the entire investigation, and that is why they need an independent probe by the CBI to take place. And we had seen how the Calcutta High Court had also taken a suo motu cognizance of the entire incident of the massacre, and now finally there has been an independent charge that has been instructed by the Calcutta High Court to be given to the CBI so that there can be an unbiased investigation that can also take place. Remember, this matter had also reached the apex court yesterday, and now we see some momentum from the Calcutta High Court with respect to the independent probe that had been demanded. Remember, the BJP had also made several claims against Mamata Banerjee government and had stated that it is Mamata Banerjee who had been maligning the entire investigation and that there was a government machinery at play while carrying out these kind of massacres and riot-like situation that keep on erupting in West Bengal. And now we see that the fruition of those kind of claims and counterclaims, also the suo motu cognizance that had been taken by the Calcutta High Court, now taking the directive that has been now given to the CBI to take over the independent investigation into the entire matter. And we have seen how the opposition had also been carrying out several protests against the entire government machinery. The BJP claiming that it was the fire emergency services as well that had been told not to do their jobs, and apart from that there were several machinery failures. And now the Calcutta High Court instructed CBI investigation into the Rampur Haat case.
দেখে বিচার করে কোর্টের মনে হয়েছে যে ইম্পার্শিয়াল ইনভেস্টিগেশন কখনোই রাজ্য সরকারের পক্ষে পসিবল না, তার জন্যই সিবিআই হয়েছে। আচ্ছা, এর সাথে সাথে আরেকটা জিনিসও বলি, আজকে আমি ঝালদা কাণ্ডে ওই তপন কান্দুর স্ত্রী উনি আজকে হাইকোর্টের দ্বারস্থ হয়েছিলেন, এবং আমরা এখানেও চেয়েছি একটা ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট প্রোব বাই সিবিআই আর এনি আদার ইনভেস্টিগেটিং এজেন্সি। এই আমাদের যে লিভের প্রেয়ার করেছিলাম জাস্টিস মান্থার ঘরে, সেই প্রেয়ারটা মঞ্জুর হয়েছে। সোমবার দিন মামলাটি শুনানি হবে তপন কান্দুর ঘটনায়। কৌস্তব বাগচি।
মাননীয় অ্যাডভোকেট জেনারেল অর্ডারটা স্টে চেয়েছিলেন, কিন্তু কোর্ট সেই অর্ডারটাকে রিফিউজ করেছে। কারণ কন্ডিশন আমরা জানি, আমরা দেখেছি কিভাবে ইনভেস্টিগেশন যাচ্ছে। গতকালকে ক্যাটাগরিক্যালি সাবমিট করা হয়েছিল যে ইনভেস্টিগেশন প্রপারলি হচ্ছে না, ইনভেস্টিগেশন রুল ফলো করে হচ্ছে না, এবং পরিষ্কার বলা হয়েছিল আমাদের তরফ থেকে ইনফ্লুয়েন্স করে, মানে মুখ্যমন্ত্রী যাচ্ছেন, মুখ্যমন্ত্রী ইনভেস্টিগেশন ওয়াজ ইনফ্লুয়েন্সড বাই দ্য স্টেট। তার আগে পর্যন্ত আনারুলকে অ্যারেস্ট করার কোনো দরকার পড়ে না। ওইখানকার লোকাল মানুষের মধ্যে আইনের উপর বিশ্বাসটাকে ফিরিয়ে আনার জন্য, প্রপার ইনভেস্টিগেশনের জন্য ম্যাটার সিবিআই কে যাওয়া উচিত।
decided that to bring back faith in law, it was necessary to order for CBI investigation.
7th April CBI কে রিপোর্ট ফাইল করতে বলা হয়েছে।
7th April the CBI is instructed to give the report to the court of the full investigation.
Well, there you have it, the kind of directive that has been given by the Calcutta High Court, and we have seen how the several leaders had been also demanding that there needs to be an independent probe. But let me also go across to my colleague who's joining us with more details on the entire story. Okay, and let me go across to Kishale, who's also joining us with more details. Kishale, tell us more about the kind of now direction that has come out from the Calcutta High Court saying that there has to be an independent probe by the CBI.
Exactly. We saw that before this, Mamata Banerjee's government had ordered that there will be an SIT that will investigate the whole case. But then again, we saw that several quarters had, alleged that this SIT is not doing the proper investigation. There are several kind of political interference. Now the court has ordered, Calcutta High Court has ordered, that the CBI will be investigating the whole case, and SIT will not have any responsibility of investigation. So SIT, which had been formed by Mamata Banerjee's government, is not functional now. Only the CBI will be investigating the whole matter. And after that, it has been ordered by the court that on 7th of April, the CBI has to submit the first report of the whole investigation that they will do. So right now, whatever the special investigation team by the state government was doing will not be considered by the court, and everything that the CBI will be investigating will be recorded and will be submitted to the court by 7th of April. And it has to be seen what the state government reacts after this, whether they reach to, any superior court or not. That we are tracking, that we are keeping a track. But right now, the big news is that the court has ordered, Calcutta High Court has ordered that the CBI will be responsible for the whole investigation from now on.
Well, yes, and we have seen the kind of claims that have come out from the opposition leaders as well, and there had also been the TMC leader and the Rampurhat Block 1 president, in fact, that had also been suspended, and the local police officers that had been called up for the dereliction of duty in the entire Rampurhat investigation. And we also have Sushil Bajoria, the BJP leader, also joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Bajoria, what do you make of this direction that has been given in by the Calcutta High Court? This also comes in the backdrop after the TMC leader has also been suspended and the local police officers been suspended for dereliction of duty.
Well, first of all, we welcome the Honorable Calcutta High Court's decision, where the matter has been transferred to CBI. Now, as the proverb says, "Doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani hoga." But for BJP making the move and bringing the whole thing to light, this whole matter would have got completely shrouded and covered under its own ashes. Like the Trinamool district president, who's still at large, who said it was a TV blast. Why is he not being arrested? Why just some small police officer? Why not the top? And this will all happen. But I can again repeat, if BJP had not moved that time, all this would have been covered in the ashes of the burnt houses. And we welcome the Honorable High Court's decision.
Well, yes, and we have seen how the opposition had been demanding for an independent probe. Is there also an assumption that there was some kind of interference that was being carried out by Mamata Banerjee herself in the entire investigation?
It is very clear. On day 3, when the Chief Minister realized that she can't now hide, so she goes and she orders the arrest. When does the Chief Minister order the arrest? The arrest is ordered by the IO, the investigating officer. Look at CRPC. Chief Minister has no power to order arrest. But it is only when she said police moved into action, because that is West Bengal police. It is run by politics. And this is why we always say in West Bengal, we have the ruler's law, not law of rule. Not rule of law. We have ruler's law.
Well, yes, Shishir, thank you for joining us. But let me also take across another question to my colleague Ananya, who's joining us on the broadcast. Ananya, we have seen how the Calcutta High Court has now asked for an independent probe to be carried out into this. What were the grounds for this direction that was given? Was it because of the TMC leader that had been interfering into this entire investigation, the police officer? What were the grounds exactly over which Calcutta High Court has given this direction?
Well, yes, Priyanka, such a direction always comes out from the court when the principles of natural justice are being hindered to, and independent agency like CBI or any other central probe agency is pulled in by the courts in order to ensure that's a fair probe going on into the state. But remember that CBI always under the DSP Act requires a sanction from the state government to investigate this whole case. But the courts can also order into the inquiry, and since West Bengal is one of the states which have withdrawn its sanctions from the CBI, we might see a clash going on, just like we saw in the West Bengal probe. But since it's a court's order, we'll have to wait. If the West Bengal government comes and challenges it before the Supreme Court, the matter is already filed by one of the petitioners before the Supreme Court with regards to the Birbhum violence. And Priyanka, the matter going to the CBI is very important. But what is more crucial in today's order is that the court has rejected West Bengal government's request, in fact, to stay the order for a bit so that it can approach a higher court to challenge the same. Because remember that somewhere or the other, Calcutta High Court also believes that an independent probe is required into this whole incident. It wants that a fair chance is given to everybody and if justice is served to the people who have lost their lives or to the king of those who have
Ananya, very importantly, you're breaking down those details of what's really happened in the Calcutta High Court, and we trust you to keep us ahead on that story. For the moment, we move on to some other stories we're tracking. But we have seen how the entire massacre probe has unfolded over the past few weeks as well, and the opposition demanding that an independent probe is required, since there was some assumption that West Bengal Chief Minister herself had also been interfering into the entire investigation, and there were local policemen who had been suspended for the dereliction of duty along with TMC leaders. And now we see the Calcutta High Court finally giving a direction on independent probe.